Every time you open your favorite app, something interesting happens, and most people never notice it. Before you even scroll, before you even tap, your feed is already waiting for you, full of videos and posts, chosen with uncanny precision. It feels almost personal, as if the app understands you on some deeper level. But that raises an unsettling question: who's really choosing what you see? Is it you, or something else, quietly predicting your next move? Today, we're going to uncover that hidden system. The invisible architecture behind your For You page, your recommended videos, your suggested playlists, and even your online shopping habits. This is the story of how modern feeds decide for you, how they observe, interpret, and anticipate your preferences so accurately that it sometimes feels like mind reading. But it isn't magic, it's math, it's data, and it's one of the most influential forces shaping the internet today. So let's peel back the curtain and explore the world of recommender systems, the silent curators of your digital life. You open your favorite app and begin scrolling. Within seconds, you see a video you like, then another, and another. And at some point, you start to wonder, how do these apps always seem to know exactly what you want? It feels almost magical, as if your feed knows you better than you know yourself. But what if I told you that before you even opened the app, the system was already predicting what you were about to enjoy? It isn't reading your mind, it's reading your behavior. And in the world of modern recommender systems, that's more than enough. Today we're going to peel back the layers of this invisible machinery. We'll explore the algorithms that shape your feed, the signals that whisper your preferences, and the hidden logic that turns millions of videos, posts, songs, and products into the small handful that appear right in front of you. And by the end, you may realize something surprising. You're not just a consumer of these feeds, you're training them. But to understand how we got here, we first have to go back to a very different version of the internet. There was once a time, not that long ago, when everything online felt basically the same for everyone. If you visited a homepage, you saw the same layout, the same articles, the same trending topics as millions of other people. There was no personalization, no tailored lists, no For You page. It was like walking into a massive supermarket where every shelf was arranged identically for every shopper. Whether you liked spicy food, sweet food, or no food at all, the layout remained the same. It was simple, but extremely limiting. The early web had a problem: it produced more content than any human could possibly sort through. Websites wanted you to stay longer, but choosing what to show you was like guessing blindly in the dark. And when platforms like YouTube, Netflix, and Amazon began to scale, the problem grew enormous. How do you help someone find what they'll love when you have millions, sometimes billions of choices? That was the moment recommender systems became necessary. Not as a bonus feature, not as a convenience, but as the only viable way to keep the modern internet usable. A recommender system at its core is a set of algorithms designed to predict what each user is most likely to enjoy. If the early internet was a giant supermarket recommender, systems are the personal chefs who step in and say, "I know exactly what you'll love today." But the interesting part is how these systems figure that out. Because unlike a human chef, they don't rely on taste tests or conversations. They rely entirely on your behavior. And from that behavior, they build a surprisingly deep model of your preferences. Let's start with the simplest kind of intelligence. These systems use something called collaborative filtering. Imagine you like mystery movies, and someone else out there in a different city or even a different country happens to like the same movies as you. If that person also enjoys a specific thriller you haven't seen, yet the system guesses you might enjoy it too. It's like being part of an invisible club where your preferences quietly overlap with the millions of people you'll never meet. Collaborative filtering works because human behavior clusters. People who like genre A often like genre B. People who enjoy one creator often enjoy a handful of similar creators. You never see the math behind it, but the system constantly searches for patterns in these overlapping circles. And the result is often shockingly accurate. But collaborative filtering has a limitation. It depends on other people behaving similarly to you. And what if you like something unusual? What if your tastes don't match the patterns of any large group? Or what if you're a brand new user with almost no history? That's when the second approach becomes essential content-based filtering. Instead of looking at other people, this method looks at the content itself. It analyzes the features inside each item, keywords, topics, visuals, length structure, and compares them to the content you've liked in the past. If you tend to watch videos that are 30 seconds long, bright humorous, and contain cats, you're going to receive more videos that check those boxes. Even if no one else in the world watches the same things you do, the system will still find the patterns inside your personal history. Think of it like a librarian who notices you enjoy books with a certain tone, a certain pacing, or a certain style of writing. So instead of recommending books that other readers like she recommends books that fit your personal taste profile. But neither of these approaches, collaborative or content-based, fully captures the complexity of human behavior. Humans don't just follow a single pattern. We are unpredictable, emotional, and inconsistent. The things we enjoy at night might not be the things we enjoy in the morning. The content we interact with on a stressful day might look nothing like the content we choose on a relaxed weekend. This is why modern recommender systems rely heavily on a third approach, deep learning. Deep learning doesn't just look at what you watch. It looks at how you watch. It looks at how fast you scroll past a video, how long you hover before making a decision, whether you replay something, whether your viewing pattern changes during certain hours or on certain days, whether you linger on certain thumbnails, whether you react faster to bright images or calm ones, whether you're more likely to tap on educational content after watching something entertaining. Deep learning treats every small action as a signal, and each signal becomes part of a constantly evolving model of your preferences. This is why modern feeds feel eerily accurate. It's because the system observes behavior at a microscopic level far smaller than any human would ever notice, and uses those patterns to predict what you'll find irresistible. But even this is just one part of the process, because knowing what you like is only the beginning. The real challenge is filtering millions of potential choices down to the tiny handful that appear on your screen. Let's follow that journey. When you open an app like YouTube or TikTok, the system begins a rapid search through a massive library of content. This library is far too large to examine piece by piece, so the system performs something called candidate generation. Instead of evaluating everything, it quickly selects a few thousand videos that might have some chance of appealing to you. Think of it as pulling promising ingredients out of a giant pantry. Once this subset is created, another model examines them one by one, giving each video a score, a predicted probability that you'll engage with it. This step is called ranking. It's the heart of the recommender system, the moment when math translates your behavior into a decision. But even after this ranking, the job isn't done. The system doesn't want to show you 10 videos that are all identical. It wants variety. It wants balance. It wants to keep you engaged without overwhelming you with sameness. So it introduces re-ranking, a final reshuffling, where the system diversifies your feed, avoids repetition, and tests new possibilities you might enjoy. By the time you see your finished feed, it has been curated by multiple layers of algorithms. Candidate selection, ranking, re-ranking, all happening in fractions of a second. And that's what makes these systems so powerful. They don't just respond to your preferences, they anticipate them. But the better these systems get, the more complicated the story becomes. Because recommender systems don't just show you what you already like. They influence what you'll like in the future. And this brings us to the unexpected side effects. When you show interest in a certain type of content, the system assumes you want more of it. And the more you engage, the stronger that assumption becomes. Over time, your feed becomes narrower, more specific, more tailored, and sometimes more predictable. This is the bubble effect. The system wants to maximize your satisfaction, but in doing so, it can accidentally limit your exposure to new ideas or perspectives. If you like cooking videos, your feed becomes a cooking feed. If you watch fitness content, your feed becomes a fitness feed. If you engage with one political viewpoint, your feed becomes a fortress of reinforcement. None of this is intentional. The system is simply optimizing for engagement. But the result is a kind of digital tunnel vision. And then there's the engagement loop. Because the more the system learns about you, the better it gets at keeping your attention. And the better it gets at keeping your attention, the longer you stay. The longer you stay, the more it learns. The cycle is self-reinforcing. But here's the twist that most people never realize. You are not just reacting to the feed. You are training it. Every scroll, every pause, every skip, every replay. These aren't random behaviors. They are signals that actively shape the algorithm's understanding of you. You are constantly teaching the model what you value, what you ignore, and what you'll return for. You are the instructor. The algorithm is the student. And this means your feed is not fixed. It's not predetermined. It's not permanent. It's a living, responsive system built from your choices. If you shift your patterns, even in small ways, the system will shift with you. If you start watching new topics, it will explore that direction. If you stop engaging with a certain theme, it will slowly fade. The algorithm is powerful, but it isn't controlling you, it's reflecting you. Which raises an interesting question. If you changed your behavior today, how different would your feed look tomorrow? The deeper lesson here is that recommender systems are neither good nor bad. They're tools of enormous influence, yes, but tools nonetheless. They shape your experience, but you shape them in return. The relationship is dynamic, evolving, and surprisingly collaborative. The next time you open an app and see a video that feels like it was chosen just for you, remember this, it kind of was. But not because the system knows you personally. It's because the system has watched the language of your actions, your micro-behaviors, your patterns of attention, and learned to speak back in the same language. In the age of infinite content, the real challenge isn't finding anything to watch. It's finding the right thing to watch. And recommender systems are the translators bridging the gap between your preferences and the vast ocean of possibilities. They aren't perfect. They can create bubbles, loops, and narrowness. But they also allow us to navigate a world too big for any human to explore manually. Without them, the modern internet would collapse under its own weight. So the next time your feed shows you something uncannily perfect, don't think of it as magic. Think of it as a mirror, a mathematical one, reflecting the tiny choices you make every day. And if you ever feel like your feed has drifted in a direction you no longer want, remember that you have the power to teach it again. Because in the end, you are co-authoring your own digital experience. And that is how your feed chooses for you. So the next time you open your feed and a strangely perfect video appears at the top, remember it's not fate and it's not coincidence. It's the result of thousands of tiny decisions made by a system you're training every single day. And whether you realize it or not, you're shaping that system just as much as it's shaping you. You're not a passive viewer drifting through an endless stream of content. You're an active participant in a feedback loop one, where every scroll pause, like skip or replay, becomes a lesson the algorithm learns from. Change your habits even slightly, and the system will change with you. Because your feed isn't fixed, it's alive, and it follows your lead. Understanding recommender systems doesn't just explain how the modern internet works. It gives you back a sense of agency inside it. And maybe after hearing all of this, you'll start asking a different question, not, why did the algorithm show me this, but what am I teaching it today? Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to explore more hidden systems that shape your digital world, stay tuned for the next episode of Plain Explain.